Have you ever seen a star rise, only to watch it fall before the world could catch its light? This carnival was supposed to be a time of celebration in St. Lucia. Music, vibes, community. But instead, the streets echoed with something darker: grief, confusion, and outrage. Because on Monday, July 21st, St. Lucia lost not just a footballer, but a symbol of what young Caribbean excellence could be. Sherman Augustin. A name we shouldn't have to say in past tense. Today we're breaking down the real story behind the headlines, who Sherman was, how his death has shaken not just St. Lucia but the region, and what this tragedy says about our festivals, our youth, and our future. Don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe, because stories like this deserve more than a scroll by. They deserve reflection. St. Lucia. Tragedy struck during Carnival celebrations on Monday, July 21st, as St. Lucian semi-professional football star, 23-year-old Sherman Augustin, lost his life after being fatally stabbed. It wasn't a gang shooting. It wasn't some backdoor deal gone wrong. It was Carnival, a public festival, a national holiday. This was supposed to be the time for joy, celebration, family. Instead, it turned into a crime scene. The man bleeding out wasn't some random. He was one of St. Lucia's most promising athletes. The player described as an inspiration to younger players died in Owen King European Hospital after being attacked and stabbed in the Vigy area on the outskirts of the capital. Vigy, a place where planes fly in tourists, but that night, St. Lucia was flying in trauma. They didn't just stab Sherman. They stabbed the heart of every young baller trying to make it out, make it up, and make it matter. The police officials confirmed the reports that the national footballer who played as a midfielder for Antiguan club Grenades, FC, was attacked during the festival and succumbed to his injuries after being transported by the St. Lucia Fire Service to the Owen King European Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. It wasn't a scuffle. It wasn't an accident. It was a direct act of violence during one of the country's most public events. That should concern everyone. Because if a man like Sherman, respected, celebrated, protected by community, can be taken out in plain sight, then who's really safe? His death has sent shockwaves of grief throughout St. Lucia and the wider Caribbean, as he was described as a disciplined young adult. His football club and fans have expressed their sorrow over the sudden and untimely death of the upcoming football star, as the 23-year-old had already started marking a successful football career. We always say he had so much potential. But Sherman had more than that. He had results. At 23, he was already signed, already traveled, already repping St. Lucia abroad. While most youth his age were posting memes, Sherman was posting medals. The football club noted that he played a pivotal role in helping his team, Grenades FC, secure the championship title for the 2022-23 season. At only 23, he had worn the national colors, signed his first international contract, and inspired a generation of young footballers in St. Lucia. Let's not downplay this. Grenades FC is no pushover club. This is a team with ambition. And Sherman didn't just fill in, he led. He carried the midfield like it was made for him. And when he wore the national colors, he made the flag feel heavier with pride. 23 years old, wearing the flag, signing deals, touching the lives of young boys from Guozale who now saw football not as a hobby, but a future. The St. Lucia Semi-Professional Football League has described his death as a devastating blow, paying tribute to Sherman as a symbol of dedication, talent, and ambition. As a proud member of GMC and the Guozale Football League, and having previously played for Grenades FC in Antigua, his contributions to the sport are deeply valued. This man played everywhere. Guozale Antigua, St. Lucia national teams. And no matter where he went, the feedback was the same. Humble, talented, driven. Let's be real. Half of us wouldn't even lace up for a village team. And this man was juggling leagues like he had 8 feet. That kind of discipline doesn't come from TikTok motivation. That comes from vision. The league said that it in solidarity with the Guozale District League and his fellow players in mourning his untimely passing, honoring his dedication and passion that will not be forgotten. We hope it won't be forgotten. But if we really want to honor Sherman, it's not just flowers and tributes. It's asking questions. How did this happen? Where was the security? Why is Carnival still a hotspot for deadly fights? Because celebrating should not mean burying our best. Chester Hughes, president of Grenades FC, also shared a heartfelt tribute to Sherman, highlighting that the player brought pride, passion, and power to Grenades midfield as he helped to lead his team to victory by securing the 2022-23 league title. Let me repeat those 3 P's: pride, passion, power. Sounds like something you'd see on a Nike commercial. But Sherman was living that slogan every game. Grenades FC didn't just lose a player. They lost a backbone. The president noted that the player represented everything that the team stands for, which is discipline, humility, and a hunger to win. Hunger to win. Even now, those words feel heavy. Because Sherman didn't die in a dark alley. He died surrounded by hundreds, maybe even thousands. But he died alone. And that should never happen to a man who spent his life lifting up others. Tributes for the death of Sherman Augustin have continued to pour in for his life that was cut short due to violence. Notice the wording, cut short due to violence. Not illness, not accident, but violence. The same thread running through too many Caribbean stories. Whether it's a carnival fight in St. Lucia, a bar shooting in Jamaica, or a stabbing in Trinidad, the pattern is growing. And we keep dancing on the edge of the blade. The St. Lucian police have launched a formal investigation into the death of the promising footballer and urged members of the public to come forward with any information that might aid in the investigation. So here's your moment. If you were there, if you know anything, even whispers, even rumors, come forward. You're not just helping police. You're helping every youth who looked up to Sherman to believe that justice still exists in our islands. Sherman Augustin wasn't just a baller. He was a blueprint. For every kid who kicks a coconut in the yard dreaming of cleats and crowds, he was the proof it could happen. He played hard. He lived humble. And he deserved better than this. Rest in power, Sherman. If you believe the Caribbean has more than just crime stories, if you believe Sherman's legacy deserves to live beyond this video, then please, like, comment your thoughts. Subscribe to Bacchanal Buzz for real Caribbean stories, not just headlines, but heartlines. And always remember, the game doesn't end at 90 minutes. Not when the people still chanting your name.